Hello, everyone. My name is Valerie Brown, and I come to you from Grand Canyon University, the College of Education. And today we will have a presentation on language and literacy development. Okay, so an outline of what we're going to talk about today will consist of learning about language and literacy development as it revolves in understanding linguistics in early childhood education. And what that means is we're going to go over definitions and examples of linguistic components in terms of five different terms that are connected to linguistics. And we will also give a brief understanding of these linguistic components and why they are particularly important for supporting children with exceptionalities. We will further go into the developmentally appropriate instructions that we can use in our classrooms to help these children, atypical and typical children. And I will also have a special activity for you guys to ponder on to be able to connect all of the information that we have learned today. In the end, we will have references that you can also go back to and use for your own future reports or information that you would like to use to learn more about the information that you have encountered today. I greatly appreciate you, and here we go. So let's begin with phonology. So the definition of phonology is the study of sound and language. And to give you an example of what phonology looks like in the classroom or as a child learns, I will use the word as simple as cat because those are one of the words that we typically teach children three-letter words in the beginning. So with the word cats, we start off with teaching the children the sound of each letter in the word so that they can get an understanding of what the word looks like when it's written out and why each sound is important. So we will start off with the C sound, which can go as a K sound, but with this particular word, the children will learn that the C in cat sounds like, and the A in cat sounds like, with the ending sound being T. So they will learn that CAT at is cat. Now, the application for phonemic awareness, which is rooted in the phonology, is essential for decoding words when reading for children. Activities that focus on phonological skills help students recognize sound and improve their reading ability. Now we move on to morphology. Morphology is defined as, well, I guess you could say it examines word formation and structure. So, a good example for formology is when we consider prefixes like the un, which sounds like un in the word undo, and the suffix like ed in the word jumped, it teaches children that words can have a beginning sound or a beginning suffix prefix and an ending suffix. And this helps children determine what that word establishes in a sentence. So for the application, it is understanding formologies. It enables students to grasp how words change meaning, which is vital in vocabulary development. By recognizing phonemes, students can decipher new words they encounter. Okay, now we're going to take a look at syntax, semantics, and pragmatics all at once. Syntax is defined as the involvement of the study of sentence structures and grammar. And what that looks like, it in a sentence, the cat sat on the mat. The structure follow a subject, verb, and object format. So children learn that they have a subject and it is doing something. And what is the subject doing? It's sitting on a mat. So that is syntax in a simple form. And the application for syntax is a proper syntax is the key of constructing coherent sentences, which enhance student writing. Teachers can teach students about sentence structures and help them communicate their ideas more effectively. Now, then we're going to go on to semantics. Semantics focus on the meaning of language. And the example for this is a word like the word bark, which has two meanings. So you can say that bark can be the outer covering of a tree, or it can be the sound that a dog makes. So, understanding semantics is critical for vocabulary development and text comprehension. When students grasp the meaning of a word in content, they can better understand the material they read. Now, we're going to go over the pragmatics because pragmatics is a study of how language is used in content. So, the example is recognizing social cues like using please and thank you shows children that words can have an emotion and reflect pragmatics understanding. The children support pragmatic supports children's ability to communicate effectively in various social situations, which is essential for their overall development. Here we will show you some visual cues to give you a connection of what we just talked about. So syntax, sentence syntax, it just basically breaks down what you are actually teaching the children. So in the first picture, you see, I see the cat. The kids will learn that they are talking about a person or someone or a subject. Who is the subject? I am the subject. What am I doing? I am seeing. And what am I seeing? The cat. So you have a subject, you have an action, and you have a result. The same thing goes for boy pulling the rope. And these sentences get, as the children grow older and more mature in their vocabulary, they begin to use more complex wording in their sentences. So with this one, the boy is pulling the rope. There's a subject, he's an action, and there's a result. Also, I included a silly scene, so that you can see how preschool students can learn pragmatic through activities. So here you will have an activity where you cut out laminated cards and you can have a sorting mat. Students can draw the cards to determine if the sense is silly or not. So you will just put a bunch of words together to see if the students can see if the sentence makes sense or not. And I think that this is a great activity for maybe older kids, maybe around the first, the second, or third grade, who are struggling with making sense of um, pragmatic skills. Now we know that learning all of these different linguistic skills that help the children learn how to read and write on as they get older has stages. So not all children learn at the same rate, which means you may have some typical children and some atypical children. But how we distinguish atypical children versus typical children is through understanding the ages and stages of development. So I have conducted ages and stages of development as it refers to language development. So as you can see, 24 to 36 months, children typically may know how to use noun and verbing, such as you might hear a young child say, boy sleeping without using is, but they would say boy sleeping or boy pencil. So they will be able to know how to do answers such as what is someone doing, where are they, and who are they. And it goes on. It goes on to 36 to 48 and 48 to 60. And as the child becomes older, their vocabulary becomes a little bit more complex and they start using ing words such as the boy is sleeping, or they may say a full sentence, the boy is sleeping in the bathroom, the older they get. So now that we have told you a little bit about the ages and stages of development as far as vocabulary and speaking, we're going to go into the when they're a little bit younger. So what you want to see in a child 0 to 6 weeks is sounds. You want to see sounds. That is part of communication. That is part of them learning their vocabulary. Even though it may seem like it is not, that is part of vocabulary. They're hearing themselves make sounds and it's making a connection to the world around them. You want to see cooing, language. You want to see laughter. That's part of language. And also vocal play. They might start making little sounds and just making connections to what they hear around them. They may even mimic you at 16 to 6 months. Babbling, making it sounds like nonsense, but that's their way of communicating to you. And then by the time they're 10 to 18 months, they will have single words: juice, apple. They may say things that they want to let you know. Then they will go on to two-word utterances. Then they go on to full sentences eventually. So this is what you will want to see to look at to distinguish atypical from typical children to know exactly what you need to do to help them. Importance of exceptionalities. That's what leads me to the importance of exceptionality, the ages and stages and development of children, because we want to make sure that we understand this. So we have visual aids of children, a typical child versus a typical child, and what they should be doing at each stage. It's very important that we encounter information on this so that we can know exactly how to help children. Now, when we think about children with exceptionalities, we think that children with exceptionalities, it has to be something that's very, very extreme. Sometimes it's not something that's extreme, it's something that seems minor, but to them it is extreme. So the child may have a lot of vocabulary, but struggles to speak. So, what this looks like to me is I have a student who is nonverbal, but the child can read because the child can follow along with words in a book with their finger as you're reading the words. So the child has vocabulary, but does not have the ability to speak yet. Modeling may be an appropriate tool for educators to use to help the child learn language. So understanding logistic components is particularly important for supporting students with exceptionalities. Recognizing typical and atypical linguistic developments allow us as educators to tailor instruction effectively. Students with exceptionalities may struggle with specific components impacting their literacy skills. By understanding these components, teachers can implement targeted interventions to support all learners. And what that may look like is recognizing sound patterns, which can help students with speech language disorders develop their pronunciation and listening skills. And with semantics, understanding word meanings is essential for students with language processing issues. Teachers can use visual and contact clues to enhance comprehension. Semantics grasping means grasping sentence structures supports which supports students who struggles with writing. Using sentence starters and modeling can help them construct clearer sentences. And pragmatics. Teaching the social use of language is critical for students with social communication challenges. So role playing can help them participate in appropriate conversational skills. So now we will go on to further discuss developmentally appropriate instructional strategies that can help children with linguistic skills and those that are struggling with exceptionalities. There are a couple of activities that educators can do to help build these skills. For instance, I'm going to name a few. We have phonemic awareness activities that engage students in games like rhyming and sound manipulation. There are word building and morphology activities that help children create new words with prefixes and suffixes. And we also have interactive reading discussions that also pay attention to pragmatic and semantic linguistic skills. So I just want to name a few and we will dive more into it as we go on. Thank you. So we're almost to the end, but I would like to share an active learning activity that can help integrate all the information we've discussed. Here's a scenario. Take a moment to think about an activity you would implement to support this child. What engaging strategies would you choose to help them succeed? The scenario suggests that Jamie is a first grader who struggles with understanding the meaning of words, often using them incorrectly in sentences. For example, when asked to describe a tall building, Jamie might say, "It's blue," instead of recognizing the attribute of its height. How would you help Jamie? Well, there are no wrong answers. As educators, we have to come up with a lot of ways to be creative to help these children. So, for me, I chose that to help Jamie improve on his somatic understanding, we can use a picture sort activity. And below you will see an activity that you can use in your own classroom to help Jamie with his somatic understanding. So, for instance, you can use a picture cards representing various objects: tall buildings, short trees, wide rivers, small dogs. You can go on to help him categorize by writing on a whiteboard or a large paper with the different size and shapes of the objects. There's an instruction that you can use to help him by introducing the categories to Jamie and explain each of the meanings using examples. Provide Jamie with picture cards and ask him to sort them into appropriate categories. Also, as Jamie begins to sort, you can encourage him to describe what he is sorting and ask him why did he put that building under the word tall. And after which you can engage with Jamie in a discussion to help him learn the vocabulary and put him into sentence structure. You will always want to follow up with the students to see if they understand, and this is part of the assessment. But this is just a little activity that you can use to help children like Jamie to connect with visual representations with word meanings, making language process engaging and tangible. It also provides immediate feedback and opportunities to participate in a supportive environment. Now we are winding down, and I come up with a few developmentally appropriate research-based strategies that you can use to help students like Jamie with his linguistic skills. So we have interactive read alouds, phonemic awareness activities, visual support, because we need a lot of visual supports for students with special needs. Also, we need a language rich environment, have words all over the classroom to help children build their vocabulary. We want to have sentence building activities. We also want our students to have peer modeling and collaborative learning experiences. Last but not least, we want multi-sensory approach to be in our classroom. It incorporates activities that engage multi-senses, such as using sandpaper, letters, and tactical learning, or incorporating movement with songs that involve gestures. These are just a few things that we can add to our lessons to help children with linguistic skill buildings. One little nugget to keep in mind. Understanding the components of phonology, morphology, semantics, syntax, and pragmatics is essential for fostering literacy development in young children. I encourage you all to implement these strategies in your inclusive classrooms to support all children learning journeys. Thank you for your attention. I love to hear your thoughts and questions. I'll keep the floor open for discussions to foster collaborating learning. Here you will find references that I use for all the information, and you are free to use them as well. Have a great day.